Okay, I've got a riddle for you. And trust me, it sounds super simple, but the answer is going to completely flip your intuition about how probability works. So picture a room full of people. How many folks do you need in there to get a 50-50 shot that at least two of them have the same birthday? Go on, take a guess. Most people think, okay, 365 days in a year, so half of that, maybe 183? Seems logical, right? The answer is just 23. Yeah, that's it. In a group of only 23 people, it's actually more likely than not that two of them share a birthday. That feels completely wrong, doesn't it? This is the core of what we call the birthday paradox.
So let's really dig into this surprising riddle. It just feels impossible, but that's what makes it so interesting and, as you'll see, so important. Now here's the thing. It isn't a real paradox in the sense of a logical contradiction. It's called a paradox because it's just such a perfect, almost jarring example of how our brains are, well, they're not naturally wired to get a feel for compounding probability. Our gut feeling just leads us way off track.
And just look at how fast those odds stack up. With 23 people, boom, we're over the 50% line. Get 50 people in that room, and the probability of a shared birthday just skyrockets to 97%. And if you have 70 people, it's practically a guarantee at 99.9%.
So why are we so bad at guessing this? Why does 23 just sound like a crazy low number? Well, it all boils down to a tiny but absolutely critical mistake in how we frame the question in our own heads.
You see, we tend to hear the question, and without even realizing it, we make it about ourselves. We think, what's the chance someone in here shares my birthday? But that's not the question. The real question is about any two people sharing any birthday. And that's a whole different ballgame.
And wow, do the numbers make this difference crystal clear. For any two people to share a birthday, you need just 23 folks. But for someone to share your specific birthday, you'd need a room with a whopping 253 people to get that same 50-50 shot. That massive gap right there, that explains everything about why our intuition gets this so wrong.
So if the trick isn't about our own birthday, what's the math actually doing? Well, the real secret sauce here isn't the number of people. It's the number of unique pairs you can make between all of them.
Okay, get ready, because this is the real aha moment. With those 23 people, you aren't just making 23 comparisons for a birthday match.
You're making 253 unique comparisons. Person 1 gets compared to the other 22. Person 2 gets compared to the next 21, and so on and so on. The number of possible pairs grows way, way faster than the number of people. It's not a straight line. It's a curve.
Think about it. Every single one of those 253 pairs is a brand new chance, a whole new lottery ticket for a match to happen. And when you have that many chances, the probability just piles up like you wouldn't believe.
And you can see it right here. That probability curve just takes off like a rocket. It's a classic exponential curve. With every new person you add, you're adding a bunch of new pairs to check. And that pushes the odds towards 100% way faster than our linear thinking brains can handle.
Okay, so it's a fun party trick, right? A great way to win a bet. But this is way more than just a brain teaser. This exact mathematical principle is the foundation for a very real and very serious kind of cyber attack.
So to get this, we have to talk about something called a hash collision. Just imagine a kind of digital wood chipper. You can throw anything in, a password, a legal document, any file, and it spits out this unique fixed-length code, kind of like a digital fingerprint. A collision is what happens when you put two totally different things into the machine, but the exact same fingerprint comes out.
And this is where the analogy just lines up perfectly. The 365 possible birthdays. That's like the limited number of possible hash outputs. The people in the room, those are like different passwords or files. And finding two people with the same birthday is the exact same game as finding two different files that produce the exact same hash.
Now here's the key. A hacker doesn't need to guess your super strong, unique password. Thanks to the birthday problem, it's way, way easier for them to just generate millions of random inputs until they find any two that happen to collide. And if one of those lets them in, well, they're in.
Let me walk you through how this gets weaponized against something like a digital signature. An attacker takes a real contract and a fake one, and they create millions of tiny invisible variations of both. They hash all of them over and over until, thanks to the birthday problem, they find a legit version and a fraudulent version that share the same digital fingerprint. So they get you to sign the good one, but that digital signature now works perfectly on the fraudulent contract too. It is a really clever and dangerous way to exploit probability.
So now that we've seen how this works in the digital world, you kind of start seeing this concept pop up all over the place, and often in some incredibly high-stakes situations.
You know, this isn't just about birthdays or hacking. The same logic applies to things like finding accidental DNA matches in a giant database, or calculating the odds of two satellites hitting each other, or even the chance that two people in a huge crowd have the same 4-digit PIN for their bank card.
Think about the justice system for a second. The chance that a random person's DNA matches evidence from a crime scene is minuscule, right? Like 1 in trillions. But in a country with over 300 million people, the power of pairs means it's actually likely there are a few people out there who are accidental genetic twins of the real criminal. It means DNA evidence is powerful, for sure, but maybe not infallible all on its own.
Or how about space? The odds of any two specific objects colliding up there are tiny. But with thousands of satellites and almost 1 million pieces of junk flying around, the number of potential pairs is just astronomical. So collisions do happen. And when they do, they create more debris. And that debris increases the odds of more collisions, risking this scary chain reaction called the Kessler syndrome that could make low Earth orbit basically unusable.
So what's the bottom line here? It's that our brains, our simple, linear-thinking brains, are just not built to have a natural feel for exponential growth. But we live in a world driven by big data, complex systems, and tiny probabilities that are multiplied over millions and millions of chances. Understanding this blind spot in our own thinking is more crucial than ever.
And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. From the stock market to medical tests to the everyday choices you make, where else is this hidden exponential math at play? And where might your own intuition be getting it completely, paradoxically, wrong?